The bright colored and attractive SUV you see standing right next to me is the new Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace and a replacement for the earlier Tiguan. Now what the Allspace is essentially is a stretched out version of the smaller Tiguan because it gets a third row of seats, but that's not it. It also has some more changes, including a brand new engine. So how will that affect the overall characteristics of this vehicle, and how good is the value for money? And most importantly, can it really take on the likes of the established Toyota Fortuner and the Ford Endeavour? Well, it's time to find out. Look at the Allspace head on and there's not much of a change when you compare it to the outgoing Tiguan. Well, for the keen-eyed, there of course is the new LED DRL element, so that gives a slightly better look to the headlamp cluster, and beyond that, it is what you would expect from a Volkswagen. It is a clean and a neat design that looks elegant and ages really well, and there's of course a lot of chrome to keep most Indian buyers interested. Move on to the side, and this is where you can actually make out the differences between the Tiguan Allspace and the earlier Tiguan because of the additional length. Now the Allspace is longer than the Tiguan by 110 millimeters as far as the wheelbase is concerned, and that means when you look at the side profile, the Allspace does come across as a quite stretched and a large vehicle. Now as far as dynamic design is concerned, it might not look as dynamic as the older Tiguan, but at the same time it does come across as a good looking and a big vehicle. The roof rails and the 18-inch alloy wheels again do a good job of keeping the clutter-free design appealing, and again at the rear you've got the similar design that we have seen on the Tiguan. So overall I would not say there's anything to complain of. The Tiguan was a good looking vehicle and the Allspace just carries forward in those steps. Now once you're inside the cabin of the Tiguan Allspace, there is not a starking difference between the older model and this new one, and that's not a bad thing because the Tiguan always had very nice build quality and finish. And the same story continues inside the Allspace as well. So what you get is a soft touch top for the dashboard, feels premium, and of course the material quality, the fitment quality looks as if it will stand the test of time. The overall design and the quality of materials inside the cabin again is quite nice and gives you the proper German feel. The doors close with a reassuring thud, and overall the solid build quality is something that you will appreciate in the Tiguan Allspace. That said, there are some changes that have been made inside the cabin, and the most notable being the new fully digital instrument cluster, which looks great and of course offers a wide variety of information. And the best part about it is the display is quite nice and it is quite easy to decipher information from this on the go. As far as features are concerned, the Tiguan Allspace is being sold in India through the CBU route and is available in only one variant, which is complete with all the bells and whistles. So you get this very good looking panoramic sunroof. Of course, there's the slick 8-inch infotainment touchscreen, which has got a very nice interface and comes with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. You've got a flat bottom steering wheel here. Beyond that, you've got electrically adjustable driver's seat with memory functions. And talking about seats, the seats themselves are quite nice and offer very good support, which will keep you comfortable over long drives. Once in the middle seat of the Tiguan Allspace, well, again things continue to be good and comfortable. The seat itself is quite nice and you can see it's got a very good design to it. The cushioning is good, so the seat will keep you comfortable, and this is an adjustable seat, so basis my requirement, I can push it forward to liberate more space for the third row, or I can push it backwards. I can also adjust my seat backrest incline angle accordingly. So that means along with the 60-40 split that is available, you get a lot of options to customize the way you can sit or the way you can put in luggage inside the cabin of the Tiguan Allspace. As far as features are concerned, Well, you do get climate controls along with rear AC vents and a USB and a 12-volt charging socket. The space in the door pockets is large enough to hold your water bottles, and of course there's this cushioned armrest you can put down when you're not having 3 people sitting on the row. And now on to the most interesting seat, the third row. Now first of all, let's see how easy or hard it is to get in. Now for someone who has a slim frame like me, well, I don't really need to push the seat forward, but if you want, you can do that. And here I am now in the last row, now with the middle seat pushed all the way back. Well, if I were to sit here, I find it extremely hard to place my knees, my legs here, and they're constantly pushing against the back of the middle seat. Now it's also a seat that is at a low height, so that means there is no under thigh support, and it's not really a comfortable place to be, although you do have these adjustable backrest which do improve things a bit. But beyond that, not much of features here. It's a simple place to be in. At best, you can use it for kids, and that too, kids who are small enough. And now let's talk about the boot space in the Tiguan Allspace. Now you can get the tailgate open with a simple football kick, and with that, and with the 3 rows sitting upright, you get access to a decent amount of boot space. This should be enough for your grocery runs, but not your weekend drives. For that, you can simply fold down these seats and get access to a large boot. And even if that isn't enough for you, you can always put down the middle row either entirely or in a 60-40 split with ease using these levers here on either side, which would push down the seat completely down. And now on to one of the biggest changes in the Tiguan Allspace, and that's the powertrain. Now, unlike the older Tiguan, which had a diesel engine, the Allspace comes with a petrol engine only. And what it gets is a 2-liter TSI motor, which produces a little under 190 horsepower and has a healthy torque output of 320 Newton meters. Now, out on the road, despite this being a turbocharged engine, the perceivable turbo lag is minimal. So once you're past about, say, close to about 1800 RPM, the engine does get into its element and you can get a decent surge of acceleration. Once you're past about 2,500 RPM, well, that is where the real punch comes in, and the power continues all the way right up till you reach, say, close to about 4,800 RPM or close to 5,000, and that is where the power starts to taper off. So you do have a wide power band to enjoy driving and pushing this engine. The 7-speed DSG made it to the engine. Again, like all DSGs in the past, this also works really well and delivers quick upshifts and downshifts. And if you want more control over the gearbox, you also have these paddle shifters behind the steering wheel, which will give you better control and allow you quicker shifts. Now, as far as the acceleration is concerned, the acceleration from the engine is impressive. It is now, the Tiguan Allspace, despite being heavier than the older Tiguan, is quicker because the petrol motor is more powerful and delivers really good performance. And beyond that, the DSG, like I said, does a good job of shifting quickly between gears. Now, coming to engine performance, well, the engine performance is quite impressive in the Tiguan Allspace, and it is the vehicle, I mean, despite being longer and heavier than the Tiguan, is quicker. So that is purely down to the more powerful engine and of course the quick gearbox. Also, once you're on the move, the refinement levels are quite nice and there's hardly any sound that filters inside the cabin. But if you do switch to sport mode, and talking of modes, there are 4 modes that you can choose from, and there are also off-road modes that you can choose from. So that also means that the vehicle with its all-wheel drive system is going to be capable when the things get going rough and tough. Now, coming back to these modes, well, you can always toggle between modes, and once you get onto sports mode, which is the most interesting one, the engine and the gearbox become a little more eager and the exhaust gets throaty. So if you are pushing the engine, say beyond about 3000 rpm, the engine does get audible inside the cabin, but the sound note is quite pleasing. So if you are someone who wants a good soundtrack from the exhaust, well, the Tiguan Allspace does deliver in a decent way on that front. As far as ride and handling is concerned, well, the Tiguan Allspace is set up slightly towards the stiffer side, and that's a good thing, because although at very slow speeds, the bigger potholes and the higher speed breakers might just send a bit of a shock inside the cabin, but as you pick momentum, things improve, and once you're at speed, the ride quality is quite impressive. And of course, as far as stability is concerned, high speed stability is a thing that Volkswagen cars are really good at, and this is no different. So it goes around in a straight line very well, and once you show the Tiguan Allspace corners, well, that is where the surprise lies, because unlike many of the other 7-seat SUVs that are based on a ladder frame chassis, this is a monocoque chassis and it's not really that high. So what that does is it gives you very good control and balance over corners, and this means that despite its size, you can push the Tiguan Allspace around corners at a high speed and come out of them smiling. At a little over rupees 33 lakh ex-showroom, the Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace is priced decently, if not aggressively. It is about under rupees 2 lakh more expensive than the older Tiguan, and the price tag puts it pretty much in the same territory as the Ford Endeavour. But you need to keep in mind that at the same price tag, the Ford Endeavour offers a larger cabin, a diesel engine, and better off-roading capabilities. But in the realistic world, more than 90% SUV owners never take their SUV hardcore off-roading, and that's the reason why the Tiguan Allspace makes great sense. So if you are someone who prefers elegance over brawn, and you like your SUVs to drive well, and you prefer a drive that is engaging, well, that is precisely what the Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace offers, along with a good feature list. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button and share it, and do not forget to press the bell icon. Till the next time we meet again, please obey all traffic rules and stay safe.